Hey there again, agents. It is AFH Clam, and I am here with another build guide for you for the Division. This build guide is going to focus around the Sentry's Call, 6-piece classified gear set. And with this build right here, opposed to the other video that I have that showcases the power of the Sentry's Call and that build guide, this one focuses more around support for your team. The other video of Sentry's Call focus more around playing as a sniper. With this build here, you're gonna be um, helping your team out by stacking strikes on the enemies above their heads, so then your team can burn down the enemies quickly and efficiently and get you through the mission. Okay, so let's go on ahead and jump into the uh, the set that I'm running. Here we are, Sentry's Call. But this is a very special set, and again, I say this particular build here is focused more around team support. And what I mean about the gear set being focused around team support is this. I built this Sentry's Call build for the purpose of staying alive to accurately stack up headshots on the enemies, and I am going to be using this guy right here, the Ballistic Shield, or most of you would know as the Riot Shield, but we'll get into that in just a few moments. Let's go on ahead and get into the gear that I am running and the mods that correlate to that gear. So, 6-piece Sentry's Call classified. Let's take a look again at the 6-piece bonus. NPC targets can now receive up to 6 marks. After 1 mark, every headshot on the target has a 50% chance to spread a single mark to additional targets within 25 meters. At 6 marks, your headshot damage on the target is increased by 100%. And if you need a little more information, go to my sniper build and take a look at that. I have some information on that video that might answer that little gap that you're missing there, so please visit that video. So let's get into the chest piece here. The chest piece, it dropped with firearms, and I wanted to take the firearms away and invest it into electronics. Now you're probably asking me why I need to invest into electronics. The reason why I need to invest into electronics is because of what I showed you earlier, the shield. The shield is going to be the bread and butter of this particular build here, because you need high electronics to keep your shield up for as long as possible, because um, you want to have every chance of not getting hit by a bullet, because you're at this point you're pretty much a squishy character. You could get taken down in a matter of like a couple shots. So having that shield available to keep you alive is very important. So anyway, I rolled for 1358 electronics, and here I decided to stack on the health just to make sure that I have some sort of health. So I have 16,455 health there, and I put 6% enemy armor damage because I want to try and take or chip away the armor enough for my team to burn through with their bullets, because they're going to be in the thick of the fight. I'm just going to be there to support them and stack the headshot strikes so they can go through the enemies a lot faster. Minor attribute here is 56% ammo capacity. I decided not to roll that out. I mean, I'm very rarely gonna have to use my like assault rifles or anything like that. I'm basically gonna be using those when I take cover to hide from an enemy and they just so happen to be coming towards my face. I could just pop out of cover, burn them down with my assault rifle, and then proceed in coming out of cover and putting my riot shield up, and then proceeding forward to help the team. Moving on to my mask. So with my mask here, Again, that one dropped with firearms, so I decided to take away from the firearms and invest it into the electronics. And please keep in mind that this build is not optimized yet. You're gonna have like a more fun time with this build as soon as you get it optimized. You're gonna find your character to be a little more powerful than what you expected. So anyway, invested into electronics for the sole purpose of keeping my shield up, and in the major attributes here, I decided to roll for enemy armor damage because again, I want to chip away at their armor, so my team doesn't have to worry about chipping away at their armor. I'm pretty much helping them out by doing that. And in the minor attributes here, it looks like the mass drop with 11% damage to elites. Now, because I'm a support character, I'm not too worried about stacking too much damage against the elites. Again, you are there for support for your team. Moving on to my knee pads. On my knee pads here, I am trying to inflict some sort of damage. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting 8% critical hit damage here in the major, on top of the 16% damage to elites that I already have. Disrupt resistance, blind resistance, and deaf resistance here. And this one actually dropped on stamina. So what I did was I rolled out stamina, and again I put it towards electronics. Moving on to the bag. On the bag, I decided to roll for crit hit damage because, again, I'm playing with a pistol, so I don't get the benefit of the automatic fire, or um, I don't get the advantage of landing a really big critical hit with a sniper rifle or anything. But again, I want to contribute a little bit of help to my team, so I do want to put just a little bit of damage on there, just so you know I'm doing my due diligence. And in the minor attributes here, I decided to roll 53% ammo capacity. I mean, you can roll EDR, blind deaf resistance, or fire resistance, shock resistance, or anything like that if you want. I decided to go the way of ammo capacity because you never know. You never know. You could be hiding there in cover, and next thing you know, you'll find that you're drawing your automatic rifle, and it's good to have those bullets available because you need them. It's better to have it and not need to use it than to need to use it and not have it. So again, I rolled. I think I mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to mention it again. I think this dropped on stamina, and I rolled into electronics. Um, and when I rolled it into electronics, I actually got 1377 there on electronics. Going with the gloves, and this is interesting because with the gloves, I ended up getting the gloves to drop with 5.5 critical hit chance, 16% critical hit damage, and I rolled out the LMG stat that was here for pistol damage, and I rolled the firearms out that dropped on this glove, and I rolled it out for electronics here. Moving on to my holster. On my holster, I decided to put a little bit of firearms into my build for the purpose of trying to activate as many talents as I can on my pistol. So I decided to roll firearms here rather than any of these other stats right here because these two stats right here aren't too bad. And if I rolled this up to like 1400 or whatnot, it's okay. It's okay, but I decided to go with this firearms instead. And as you can see here, I put 6% skill haste because if your shield comes down, you need to be able to bring that shield back up just a little faster. Now I don't have too much. What's it called? Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have too much skill haste on my character, but I do find that the shield comes back rather quick. So I decided to boost that chance up a little bit more with 6% skill haste. So let's talk about the mods. On the mods here, we're not going to go over these weapons because these weapons are kind of irrelevant because you want to put your focus here on the pistol. But anyway, um, the mods that I'm running Here I have 7.5% ballistic shield health, so that offers health to your ballistic shield. It could take on more bullets or whatnot. And I put here pulse critical hit damage because in this build, instead of running a immunizer box or like a life support box or something like that, I'm going to be running the pulse because the pulse is going to offer my team a really great advantage by boosting up their critical hit chance and their critical hit damage. Moving on to the holster, I have 7.5% ballistic shield health. Again, I want to try and keep that shield up as long as possible. And same goes for my knee pads here. 7.5% ballistic shield health. Going over the gear mods here, I put prototype firearms on with 3% skill haste in both slots, and that goes the same for the mask. And also the knee pads, the bag. I put firearms pretty much with skill haste on all of these items here. Now, there's a reason why I run the pistol. The pistol has very, very minimal recoil. That means you get to control your shots. And if you can control your shots, you're going to land a lot of headshots. And by landing those headshots, you're adding on the stacks to the NPC's heads. If you get those stacks up to 6 stacks, that makes your gun powerful. It also gives your team the benefit of inflicting 30% more damage against the yellow elite enemies. And that could be beneficial for any legendary mission, any heroic mission where you have enemies like the heavy machine gunner enemies or really tanky hunters, things of that nature. This build right here is gonna shine in those missions, and more than likely your team will appreciate your support. I guarantee you that. Let's talk about the skills that I'm running. I'm running the recon pack here, and with the recon pack, I love the recon pack because this recon pack and the high electronics that I have on it, look at what it does. It offers my team 30% crit hit chance. So if all of them are running like assault rifles or whatnot, and they have their assault rifle modded in a way that they're outputting 30% crit hit chance already. Adding on another 30% here, that's 60% crit hit chance that you're offering that member on your team once you send this pulse out. And on top of that, another 32% critical hit damage. And what's really nice about this is, look at my cooldown, only 30 seconds. Maybe just a little over, a smidgen over. So that really benefits your team. And now we get to the bread and butter. The ballistic shield. With that high of electronics that I have on this build right here, look at what I'm doing. I've given myself a boost of 796,250 HP, health points. It's going to increase the threat by 200%, but look at the cooldown. 16 seconds, and that's because of all of those skill haste mods that I put on my gear, on top of the skill haste that I rolled on my holster. So you can keep this shield up. They can take this shield down, and it'll come right back up. In a matter of seconds. So just keep that in mind and make sure that you're using this shield. And it's also really nice because it grants the user a small portion of incoming damage as healing. So if I'm taking, if I'm taking damage, it's gonna heal me in return as well. So let's get out of here And unfortunately, I don't have any friends running with me right now, but I'm going to take this build into the mission and use it as it's intended, so then that way you have an idea of what it does. So I'm going to run into the mission here, deploy my shield, run into the mission, deploy my pulse, and I'm going to go for headshots to stack. There we go, stacking on that headshot damage. And look, by stacking on that headshot damage, it spreads like a virus to any enemies that are within 25 meters of each other. And I tell you, that is really nice. Sending out the pulse for some damage. Let's put some hurt on this guy here. Heal myself. Stack the headshots on this guy right here. There we go. Send my pulse out. Look, the damage spread to this guy here. Or the stacks. It spread to this dude here. And there we go. Look at that. Now imagine if you were in an atmosphere where you were running with a team. Wouldn't you figure that that would be really beneficial to them? Especially if you're in a legendary mission and you take this into a legendary mission. That support that you're giving them, gives your team the entire benefit of running through the mission really, really fast. And reaping the benefits at the same time, for finishing the mission. But other than that, that's basically what this build does. I mean, I hope this video gives you an idea of how much utility this build brings to your team. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoy the build. If there's any way that you can improve on this build, hey, shoot me a message. I mean, get in touch with me somehow. Give me some advice. But this is how I run this build right here. So if you have any tips or tricks, or maybe something came to mind, at a whim or whatnot that you kind of want to let me know about, then feel free to. But anyway, that's it. You guys enjoy. Play rough and stay tough. Have a good one, agents.